Welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon and Ascendant, for the month of March. I'm issuing preemptive apologies for all of these videos because, as some of you may know, we're in the middle of a Mercury retrograde at the moment, and it's in your season. I was just about to kick my pint of water over loads of decks of cards. That would have been traumatic in the extreme. So the reason that I'm apologising is because I really struggle with Piscean energy, despite having a daughter who is Pisces and 3 extremely close friends who are wonderful women that I'm blessed to know, also all being Pisces. I absolutely adore them. But there's something about this time of year, cosmologically speaking, I just cannot deal with this ungrounded energy. So hats off to you, Pisces, for just, being able to navigate this energy and not want to throw yourself under a tractor because, oh my God, it's so emotional. I cannot even deal with it. Over nothing as well. Over nothing. I actually shouted at my Phoenix earlier because I got my hair stuck in it and I was just like, stop victimising me. And it do be like that for me at the moment. So, if I cock up with my words, which is almost certainly going to happen, I apologise. Also, thankfully, my neighbour, who decided to strim every square inch of his property very loudly with a very loud petrol strimmer, has finally stopped. But I had to go downstairs and lie on the floor with Silas and listen to the entirety of 10,000 Days by Tool in order to woo-sa, because otherwise, who knows what might have happened. So, with all of that waffling out of the way, let's get you some cards, Pisces. Could I have 3 cards for Pisces for the month of March, please? Cards for Pisces. Some trying to come out, but not quite managing it. Whoa. Whoa. Wheel of Fortune. It's interesting. It's the card of Sagittarius in the Major Arcana. It's number 10. It's a good card. Got 2 more cards for Pisces, please. Let's gunning on with Pisces at the moment. That one wanted to come out. Ace of Swords, like that. That's air energy. It's Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And what's coming towards Pisces, please, in the month of March? Whoa. Okay. Well, we've got the Priestess card, but one has also landed out with it. Shall I take it? I think not. Because it felt like the Priestess was the one that wanted to come out there. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the 4 of Swords, which talks about taking a break. Right? You can talk about meditation sometimes as well, and if you don't do it, you should get on that because it's really good for your brain. I think I might start off tomorrow with a grounding meditation because actually it just strikes me there that I haven't done any grounding meditations, and that's probably why the energy is plucking me up and taking me to Oz or something, fucking Narnia. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. I'm fine. Honestly, I am. Fine. Send help. Needless to say, I'm kind of counting down the days until Aries season starts. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, just cut the deck and it was there. How weird is that? I need my sister fire sign to come and save me right now. Energetically speaking. So, why is the Wheel of Fortune here for Pisces? Please. That simply will not do. Not a single card. Why is the Wheel of Fortune here for Pisces? Whoa, there we go. We have the Chariot. Nice, I like that. That's another Major Arcana card. This time for Cancer rather than Sagittarius. Numbered 7. Why is the Wheel of Fortune here? Oh. Ooh, Awesome. We've got the Four of Pentacles, but it's come up in reverse, and that is the way that I like to see this card, because anything else is not cool. Why is the Ace of Swords here, please, for Pisces? Pisces getting clarity on. Being very closed right now. Definitely stuff going on with you don't necessarily want to talk about. Why is the Ace of Swords here for Pisces? Come on. Come on. Cards falling out right, left and centre. Oh, was last month, was that not some sort of secret that you were sitting on, Pisces? Because the Ace of Cups flipped while I was shuffling there, and I suddenly made me think that it was something that you were keeping quiet. I'm just putting all of these the right way up because, like, right. Is that secret still a secret? Why is the Ace of Swords here? I'm going to go with yes, actually, because we've got the two of Wands. That's fire energy, obviously. Another one for the Ace of Swords. We've got the Queen of Swords. Right. Now we've acknowledged it's a secret, we can talk about it, apparently. That's cool. Why is the High Priestess here? Justice. There we are. Card of Libra, Major Arcana. Why is the High Priestess here? For Pisces. I believe the fucking sun's starting to go down now. Like, it should not have taken me all day to make videos, but it has. Okay. Ten of Pentacles. I didn't even notice what was at the bottom of the deck actually before I slammed the cards into it, so we'll not be bothering with shadow cards on that deck. Right. The first card that you've got is one of a number of major arcana actually on the table right now, which is awesome. Is the Wheel of Fortune. Like I said, that's a card of Sagittarius. You might have been dealing with a Sagittarius, but if not, and I suspect not, this is more about a change of fortune, right? Of whatever type that might be. Although for me, it only ever comes out when fortunes are improving, right? I've seen it written in places that sometimes it can indicate a downward turn in fortune, but for some reason it only ever indicates an upswing for me, and that's a good thing. We like that. Yeah, but there's a sense of you hitting your right path. I can't quite work out why I feel like, and it's probably because the Chariot's directly underneath it. Like there's the wheel has turned and you have been shifted slightly from where you were, and this might have only been a very minor adjustment. I feel that actually. You've either, well, no, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Like there's been a minor adjustment in your path, apparently, and it set you off in a different direction to one that you had initially anticipated, right? But this is for the good. It's absolutely for the good. Because directly underneath it, we've got the Chariot and we've got the Four of Pentacles. And as I said, the Four of Pentacles came out in reverse, and that's how I like to see it. The Chariot is the card of the self. Right? It's a card of Cancer, yes, but it's a really strong card of everything to do with one's internal space. Space, is that the word that I want? No, sense of self. That's what I want, right? It's self-governance, it's self-discipline, it's autonomy. it's a really strong card, and it talks about moving forwards victoriously. But it also talks about duality and balance, because we've got these two creatures down here, the Sphinxes, that are, you know, lashed to the Chariot, who are going to pull it along. But the important thing is that the Charioteer does not have any reins, right? And these Sphinxes are set off in slightly different directions. It's balancing out the two of them, using only the power of his mind. That's all he's got at his disposal in order to steer these Sphinxes and go in a straight line. And there's a sense that, sorry, the reason I'm quiet is because I'm trying to work out whether you balancing yourself out and getting on top of the duality of your own nature, you know, these two Sphinxes are, you know, the good, the bad, the night and day, you know, the two opposing forces that everybody has inside them. You kind of brought them into balance. Now, is that off the back of some change of fortune, or are you bringing about your change of fortune? Have you brought about your change of fortune by doing this? I'm inclined to go with the latter, to be honest, because I do feel like once you get into alignment, once you sort out your own personal shit, then things do just seem as if from nowhere to start opening up for you, or lining up for you, that kind of thing. But there's a sense that you've done this. And how have you done it? By apparently releasing some stuff, right? Because this way around it's called the Miser card, and you can see why. This chap's got his feet planted on his pentacles and he's holding on to it. It's kind of an ostentatious show of wealth, really. It's supposed to be. This is somebody who's, you know, I've got all this money. But for me, whenever I look at this card, all I see is fear, because if you are clinging really, really hard to something, it's because you don't think it's going to return to you in any meaningful sense. So that can be money, and it can be the Miser card for that. You know, you're just constantly squirreling away. Or it can be anything else. It can be anything that you actually find important to you. So that can be relationships, that can be people and things as well. Not that they're resources that can be mined, but, you know, it's about the precious, right? Whatever that is. But the thing is, the way the law of attraction works is by doing that, what you're doing is kicking out an energy of lack, right? Otherwise you won't be clinging to it so hard. I am so afraid of the lack that I'm going to hold it close. Therefore, that's what goes out into the universe. But this way around, it talks about releasing things, right? Arguably, you needed to have been in this state first before you can come out of it. So that's something to bear in mind. But whatever it is and whatever the situation is for you, like, you have released it. And in doing so, you've strengthened up your sense of self, which is really, really important. Your own autonomy, your own direction forwards and whatnot. And it seems like the universe is responding to this shift in energy that you have created, right? That's exceedingly positive, and you should be really proud of yourselves, because that's difficult to do, but you've done it. And then we come to the Ace of Swords. Now, the Ace of Swords is primarily about truth, right, of any description, really. But because it's an ace, and the aces are the infinite potentiality of the suit that they, you know, are to be found in. So in this case, with swords, it's truthful words. It's truthful communication. Right? Swords are all about words, communication, thought processes, how we express ourselves, both internally to ourselves by our thoughts and externally to other people, right? But it can also be a state of mind. And I don't usually throw that in there, but I do kind of feel like it's relevant here. Yeah? It's a clarity of thought. It's a clarity of expression. It's a being able to see things for the way that they are. Now, because it's an ace and because it's being proffered by this like sky hand here, I feel like it's come into your consciousness rather suddenly, presented, if you will, like an opportunity. And whether that's just like, you just had a thought and suddenly you can see things differently, or whether it's been brought to you by somebody else, as a messenger. That's possible. But whatever it is, the state that you are in at the moment is one of being able to both see what you are doing very clearly, express yourself very clearly, and think very clearly about your next moves, right? And it's truthful. It's honest communication. You're being honest with yourself. There's no deception here at all. Yeah. And it's clarified by these two cards, the Two of Wands and the Queen of Swords. Now, the reason that I said, yes, it's probably still a secret, whatever it is, still don't know what it is, is because for me, twos are the numbers that refer to the internal space, right? So whenever there's a two, there's something going on inside. And in this card, this one, it's hitting a crossroads, right? He's holding a globe and he's got one wand kind of planted, bolted to the castle wall, but he's got the other one in his hand, right? If the initial inspiration for something is the Ace of Wands, which it would be, then the two is when you're like, cool, I've had this really good idea. I've got this thing that I'm really passionate about doing. The Two of Wands is like, how the fuck do I make it happen, right? He's staring at a globe. It's like, there's possibilities. There are directions that I can go. Where am I going to go? How am I going to do it? All of this. It's kind of logistics, really, more than anything else. And then once you get to the three, we're talking about expansion. We're talking about manifesting in the 3D those things that you considered and decided upon positively in the Two of Wands. So I feel it's still a secret because it's still inside. You're still pondering on it at the moment. But the good news is that it's come out to clarify this card, which means that there's no sense of the waters being muddy here. There's no sense of you trying really, really hard to work a way, out of a situation or a way to do a thing, and other considerations kind of muddying up the water, cluttering up the space. You're seeing really clearly, you're thinking really clearly, you're expressing yourself really clearly, and you're using that very reasoned, intellectual, logical perspective gifted to you by the Ace of Swords in order to help you make your decision. Now, the Queen of Swords kind of adds even more credibility to this because as we've established, like, Piscean energy is actually very dreamy, and there's a certain level of, well, it's quite floaty as well. It's not very grounded, and it's very heart-centered. It's more about feeling than anything else. Done it again. And because of that, it can be quite formless at times, because it's a feeling. Like, how do you shape a feeling and act on that? Like, that can be quite tricky. But the energy that you're in at the moment is that you're taking that and you're using it. You're not using it. You are filtering it through swords cards, through the Ace of Swords and through the Queen of Swords, in order to think logically, rationally, reasonably, intellectually about your steps forwards, rather than kind of just drifting and letting the energy take you. There's this conscious thought going on in here. And this is a very bright woman. Could be a Libra who's helping you out with something, possibly an Aquarius or Gemini, right? If it's a person that is involved in this, logistical considerations that you've got going on there. But if it's not, and I don't feel like it is an external person necessarily, because you have got the Ace there at the top. The Ace is overarching this part of the reading. I often describe the I can't do it. I often describe the Queen of Swords as like a filter for me, because she filters out a lot of the bullshit that doesn't need to get to the ears of the king, so that by the time stuff does get to the king, he's just got the facts of the matter, right? He hasn't got to deal with anything that isn't entirely relevant, there and then, right in front of him to make his decision. And she's very good at being that filter, and that seems like that's an energy that you are employing at the moment. Can I have another card for the Queen of Swords, please? Oh. We've got the Wheel of Fortune, right? Twice. I just feel like when the Wheel of Fortune appears, it's often no way, fuck off, I'm not taking all of those cards. It can be like a course correction, but I tend to see the Tower more as that, and that tends to be quite a dramatic course correction. But again, I've got this sense of it just being micro adjustments in order to align you with where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. And it might be requiring you to be a little adaptive intellectually in order to, be a bit more flexible with what you had planned initially. Yeah. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords here. Pisces. So now we have the Eight of Wands and the Ten of Cups. And the Eight of Wands talks about swift incoming communication, and it could be that you're waiting on some of that to come in. But the Ten of Cups talks about complete emotional fulfillment. So there's something about this plan that you have, something that you have planned, which although at the moment you're thinking about it very logically, very intellectually, very reasonably, blah, 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 is going to ultimately lead to a great deal of emotional fulfillment for you. This feels every bit as vague as Pisces energy does to me. I'm not even going to lie. Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune, please. I need to know about the Wheel of Fortune. King of Swords. Now, how interesting that I should have just mentioned the King of Swords. And then here he is, he's popped out. And this is why the Queen of Swords is out with the two, because at the moment you're still filtering, you're still trying to get the options narrowed down to the ones that are best for you. This suggests that one of those little micro adjustments, little coincidence is going to come about that's going to help you with it. Because then we get to the King of Swords, and that's about making the decision. Like, this is what you're headed towards. It's narrowing down all of these options until you've got the right one for you. And then you hit the King of Swords, and you're going to be able to make the right choice. Right? It's really interesting. But what's coming towards you in March is the High Priestess, and that's the card of, it's your card. It's the card of Pisces. She's also a card of secrets. Still got this secretive kind of energy about it. And so I feel like there's no sense that you're going to be necessarily kind of broadcasting what this is anytime soon. It's certainly not playing your hand yet. You're sitting on it. And there's a sense, actually, as I'm looking at this, that you could sit on this indefinitely. It's that important to you that it's almost so good what you're trying to plan and what you're trying to put together that you're almost afraid of fucking it up by telling people too soon. You're almost afraid to share the knowledge. I'm not saying the knowledge. She's all about wisdom and knowledge. I was just looking at the spider web above her head. Like, I just get the feeling that you could sit there indefinitely on this and not share it with anyone. And certainly, it would seem for the month of March, that is what you are going to continue to do. And I have to say, it seems like it's probably the right move, because the next card that we've got is Justice, right? It's a pillar card. You can talk about karma quite a lot, but it does talk about things being done correctly, things being done the right way. I mean, if you want to bring it down to its most basic level, we could be talking about contracts, we could be talking about legal proceedings of some description. And under here, good Lord, child, be quiet. Under here, secret negotiations, secret contracts, secret things. I mean, fuck, maybe you've had to sign a non-disclosure or something like that, yeah? That's possible. For this, the Ten of Pentacles, right? Sometimes called the inheritance card, but let's face it, it cannot be the inheritance card for everybody who watches this video, or everybody who happens to be Pisces. You're not all going to get an inheritance at the same time. It can talk about other things. It can talk about business. It can talk about home. It can talk about family, right? It talks about those things that take a while to kind of set up and really start to feel the benefit of, because it's the Pentacles suit, so it is resources, but by definition, whatever this represents has taken time to grow, right? Stepped progression. I'm going to pull some more cards because I'm so nosy and there's no way I'm letting you go without me trying to get some notion of what your little secret is. I'm sorry. I'm a Leo. I'm a cat. I'm just basically dangerously curious about everything. Tell me more about this Justice card. Oh, I don't think you want to tell me. I really don't think you want to tell me, because there's like 15 cards have come out here, and it's almost like you just throw loads and loads of information at me with one like tiny little seed of truth in it somewhere, and just hope that it gets lost, like the government burying bad news, you know. Card that just jumped out there is the Ten of Pentacles. Again, it's exactly the same card as this one, right? Okay, I get it, I understand it. What it is important to you, and it's important enough that you don't want to spill the beans. That's fine. I get it. Just get one more card. Tell me more about this Ten of Pentacles. It's just not even. Oh, I got one. It's a really confusing one. It's the Four of Cups in reverse. Oh, okay, I understand. So this way up, it talks about missed opportunities often. Talk about all of that sort of thing. But it's come out this way around, and I feel like this card is almost a message for me rather than for you. It's you telling me that you're not going to miss this opportunity to get this done, to see this through, by enlightening me in any way, which is, I respect that. That's fine. The more I talk, the more it sounds like, the more it feels like contracts, legal proceedings, all that sort of thing is actually where this is going. Doesn't have to be. Remember, it's a general reading, and it's not going to resonate with everyone, and bits of it are not going to be, the whole reading isn't necessarily going to resonate. It might just be bits of it. But apparently there's nothing else to be said, so I'm going to leave it there, Pisces. I'll be back in about 10 days or so. I don't expect you to tell me anymore, because I've already ascertained that what this is going to remain secret for the rest of March, at least. But at least we can, touch base and have a chat and all that sort of thing, and hopefully I'll be feeling a little less like I'm drowning and emotional and stuff. And yeah, I'll look forward to that. Right, see you soon.